Production cycle flowchart explanation. The production cycle begins when customers place order through WhatsApp. The owner receives the order details, including the quantity and types of tofu. Owner prepares the order note, only one copy, and it is for the owner to archive. The owner will determine the daily production plan to decide how much tofu needs to be produced on that day based on the order received. The owner then checks the availability of soybean stock from the production division. Decision point: is soybean stock still available? If yes, if the soybean inventory is available, the process proceeds directly to the production process. If no, if soybean inventory is not available, the owner will make a purchase of additional soybeans to the supplier. When soybeans arrive from the supplier, the production division performs several activities. First, receive soybeans. Second, inspect the quantity and quality of the soybean retrieved. Third, store the approved raw materials properly. And fourth, record the inventory stock and is documented in the inventory record. After raw materials are available, the production division carries out the tofu production process according to the production plan. During and after production, the production division monitors and maintains product quality to ensure that the tofu meets the company's quality standards. After the production process is completed, the production division records the quantity of finished goods produced and is documented in the finished goods record. The production division also records all production costs incurred during the production process and is documented in the production cost record. After recording, the company evaluates whether there is any remaining finished goods inventory. Decision point: is there any leftover inventory? If yes, if there are leftover finished goods, first, the remaining inventory is stored in the warehouse. Second, inventory records are updated, and the updated information is documented in the inventory record. If no, if there is no leftover inventory, the process continues directly to product delivery. Finally, the shipping division will deliver the tofu products along with the order note to customers. The production cycle ends when the customers receive their orders successfully. Next, I will explain the weaknesses and recommendations. Based on our analysis, several weaknesses were identified in the production cycle. First, production planning is not structured. Production quantities are mainly based on estimates and customer orders, which may result in overproduction and underproduction. Second, not all production outputs are recorded properly. For example, fried tofu production is not fully documented because of the high production volume. Third, losses from expired or damaged products are not formally recorded. This may affect the accuracy of production cost calculations. Fourth, all recording activities are still manual. This will increase the risk of human error, document loss, and delay information. To improve the system, we recommend implementing a production planning system and an inventory management system. These systems can help the factory plan production more accurately, monitor inventory levels, and reduce recording errors. We also recommend developing a centralized digital database to store production and inventory information electronically. And also, the company should improve documentation procedures and strengthen the separation of duties to reduce the risk of fraud and improve internal control effectiveness.
Next is the strength in the production cycle in Sarimurni Tofu Factory. The first one, raw material inventory is monitored. The company monitors soybean inventory before initiating the production process to ensure that sufficient raw material are available and reduce the risk of production delay. The second one is quality control implementation. The company conducts quality inspection of raw material and monitor product quality throughout the production process to maintain consistent product quality, reduce the likelihood of bad quality products, and enhance customer satisfaction and trust. The third one is production cost recording. records production costs incurred during the manufacturing process to help the company determine production costs more accurately and support appropriate pricing decisions. Next is the supporting system and application used in the production cycle in Sari Murni Tofu Factory. The factory does not yet use a computerized accounting information system. Most activities are still performed manually. For communication, the factory uses WhatsApp as the main application. WhatsApp is used to receive information about customer orders, coordinate production activities, discuss inventory availability, and communicate with workers. The factory also uses CCTV cameras to monitor production activities and supervise workers during the production process. Although WhatsApp and CCTV support daily operations, they are not integrated with accounting or inventory systems. As a result, production data, inventory information, and production costs are still recorded manually in notebooks. In the production cycle, analysis and evaluation results indicate that the production process, from planning and task allocation, raw material use, implementation, to storage of production results, has been running smoothly. However, several internal control weaknesses were still found related to the planning and purchasing of raw materials depending on the number of orders, the lack of recording of production losses, and manual recording. These conditions risk unstandardized budgeting, raw material waste, and recording errors that impact production cost calculations. Consequently, factories can implement a production planning and inventory management system for better control and efficient recording.
Expenditure cycle flowchart explanation. Okay, so when an order comes in from a buyer, the production department will check the inventory first, like the raw material, soybeans. If available, then proceed to check the inventory of supporting materials, such as salt, turmeric, firewood, and others. If available, then continue to the tofu production process. But if the raw material inventory, which is soybeans, is not available or insufficient, the production department will request the owner to make a purchase order to the soybean supplier. The supplier will then provide a purchase invoice to the owner, and the owner will make a payment to the supplier. The payment receipt will then be recorded in the owner's expenditures record. If the inventory of supporting materials such as salt, turmeric, firewood, or others is not available or insufficient, the production department will request Mr. Ahmed as the finance department to create a purchase order to the supplier of supporting materials. And then the supplier will give a purchase invoice to Mr. Ahmed. The purchase note from the purchase of raw materials and support materials will be submitted to the production department to check the quality and quantity of the raw materials. If the quality and quantity were appropriate, they will be stored, then the stock will be recorded, and the process will continue to tofu production.
If the quality and quantity were not appropriate, they will report to the owner, and the owner will ask for a refund to the supplier. When ordering support materials, Mr. Rahmat will make the payment to the supplier using the factory's PTCAS. The payment receipt will be recorded in the daily expenditure records. The payment receipt and the daily expenditure records will be given to the owner to be recorded and archived by the owner, as well as to replenish the petty cash that has been used for the payment.
Sari Murni Tofu Factory's expenditure cycle has several key weaknesses. There are no formal purchase orders. Soybean purchases are only confirmed through WhatsApp messages with no fixed supplier contracts, this creating supply uncertainty. Goods received is only confirmed verbally or through photos, and invoices go directly to the owner without any verification. All documents and functions are heavily centralized in the owner, making reconciliation and audits nearly impossible. Dishonest actions in the raw material receiving process even have been acknowledged, reflecting inadequate internal controls. To address these issues, the factory should implement a simple digital procurement system with formal purchase orders, distribute document access to at least one other trusted person, and establish a fixed supplier contract to ensure supply continuity. The expenditure cycle involves four main parties: the supplier, who delivers raw materials and issues invoices; the business owner, who orders materials, receives documents, approves payments, and stores records; the production department, who monitors stock level and trigger reorders; also the internal finance, Mr. Rahmat, who manage petty cash for supporting materials like salt, turmeric, and firewood.
Despite its weaknesses, the factory does show some positive practice. Regular suppliers are used to maintain supply consistency. Every purchase is accompanied by an invoice kept as a transaction archive, and communication between the production department and the owner ensures reorder happens before stock runs out. While the expenditure cycle is functional enough for daily operation, its heavy reliance on manual processes and a single person creates significant risk of fraud, data loss, and supply disruption. Moving toward even a basic digital recording system and clearer separation of duties will greatly strengthen the factory's financial control.